Traditionally, after the European Continental Championship there is its analog, the Championship of Four Continents. The obvious pluses are that two skaters took a risk in the short program with the triple axel. Usually, they include this element in short program only when they perform it confidently enough. As for the disadvantages, both attempts were unsuccessful. Hana Yeshida, who had distinguished herself at the Junior Grand Prix in the fall, could not hold her own on the axel and fell into step-out. She must have been upset because she was also mistakey on other elements and was 10th. Rinka Watanabe, the dark horse of the post-Olympic season, did even worse in a tricep. She missed a roll, fell off her balance and landed on her knee. Despite the glaring error, Rinka rolled the next elements well, except for a slight miscount on the triple Lutz triple toe loop cascade. But still only 65.60 points, 8th place. Amber Glenn, on the other hand, is betting on her expression in the rolls. The spectacular jumpsuit of the athlete combined with a modern cover of the Hit the Road Jack is a perfect hit. One could see that Amber was fully charged for a clean performance. The American was a little let down by the triple Ritberger. She couldn't hold back and touched the ice with her hand on the way out. It kind of soured her emotional performance a bit. But good pluses on the non-dive, however, helped Glenn even her personal best of 69.63 and an intermediate 4th place. Funny thing is that Amber herself did not seem to expect to see such a high score after the mistake, very surprised with her scores. Cheyenne Kim this season successfully combines performances at both adult and junior levels. In December, the Korean won a hard-fought bronze medal at the Grand Prix finals and then earned the right to compete at the Korean Championships. Against the background of the other athletes, 16-year-old Kim looks really tiny. According to the official data, she is only 145 centimeters tall. Her delicate lyricism and trademark soft glide, characteristic of Koreans, draws viewers' attention to Kane. The skater has no problems with her jumps. She performed the standard set and with triple Lutz and flip perfectly. There is a feeling that the Korean was held back a little compared to her more titled colleagues. 70.86 points, a small bronze at the debut championship. Later, Cheyenne's score increased. Once again, a typing error occurred. The Korean in the original protocol forgot to give a bonus for a cascade in the second half. Her final score was 71.39. Isabeau Levito took to the ice at her home tournament as the ISU Skating Awards 2023 Best Newcomer. The reigning U.S. champion managed to cope with the short program as usual. She missed in time to improve her personal record of the season. The American was given a point penalty for a small roll. 71.50 points, 2nd place. Jerem Kim is one of the most experienced skaters competing in Colorado Springs. Kim has added stability and expressiveness in recent years, and in the fall, she qualified for the Grand Prix finals for the first time in her career. She won the CCC bronze last season, so she certainly got her sights set on winning now. It must be said that her performance cannot be called the best of her career. She did a triple loop triple toe loop cascade, which was slightly off. She should have had at least a quarter turn on the second jump, but the judges did not decide. 72.84 points, the leader after the first day. Although the score for the components should be much higher than Levito's, not by a modest 0.42 points. Compared with the European Championships, the competition at the CCC is noticeably higher. Skaters take risks with Ultra C, many try to perform 3-3 cascades, which was not the case in Espoo. At the end of the short program, dominance of Korean and American skaters is noticeable. All the strongest warm-up in the free program will consist only of these skaters. As for the Japanese, they dropped drastically without their leaders, finishing in the top 10. The head of the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA, Travis Tegert, spoke out about the doping case of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva. The fact that the doping sample was in the lab, but the result was not reported on a fast track, which allowed Valieva to compete on February 7, 2022, was just a terrible tragedy, an oversight and a failure of the system. We literally stay up day and night checking the test results of the athletes we send to the games and making sure they are processed and reported in a timely manner. You cannot send high-level athletes to major international competitions and not have them tested positive for more than 6 weeks, said Tegert. In February 2022 during the Olympics, it was revealed that Valieva had tested positive for the banned drug trimetazidine. The sample itself was taken on December 25, 2021, at the Russian Championship. The analysis was handled by the Stockholm laboratory, which announced a positive test with a delay on February 7. American figure skater Vincent Zhou spoke out about the doping case against Russian Kamila Valieva. At the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, Zhou won silver in the team event as a member of the U.S. team. Russia, for which Valieva was competing, won the gold medal, but the awards ceremony was never held because the doping investigation against the figure skater began. While the medals themselves are missing, it points to a larger problem, the way doping affects clean sports and the Olympics. It becomes clear that the whole situation is unfair because the skater who tested positive for doping was allowed to compete before she was acquitted, because of the irregularity of the procedure itself. If you're competing against doped athletes and the doped athletes win, it's fair for them to be disqualified and for you to get first place, NBC News quoted Zhou as saying. In February 2022 during the Olympics, it was revealed that Valieva tested positive for the banned drug trimetazidine. The sample itself was taken in December 2021 at the Russian Championship. Alexandra Trusova, a silver medalist at the 2022 Olympics, will perform in the ice show The Little Mermaid. Started to create our new fairy tale on ice with the ballet The Little Mermaid. Now Sasha Trusova will also be swimming for us. Shooting the poster took place underwater. Sasha is a real mermaid and a unique athlete, Plyashenko wrote in his Instagram. The show will be held from December 28 to January 3 in Moscow. In the main roles will also appear Plyashenko himself, his son Alexander, as well as Mark Kondratyuk. Lev Averbach, chief physician of the St. Petersburg Private Ambulance Service Chorus, spoke out about the need for the possible amputation of the toes of Olympic figure skating champion Roman Kostomarov. This is a systemic story. Unfortunately, the hands have nothing to do with the feet, conventionally. Gangrene can develop, as a rule, on any limb, and they do not depend on each other. It may be, for example, that you have to amputate 2 fingers on one hand and 3 fingers on the other. And on the legs in parallel as well. Unfortunately, sepsis, which apparently, for various reasons, could not be treated with antibiotics. Sepsis, necrosis, gangrene is very transient. If you do not amputate the limbs, he will die. Izvestia quotes Averbach. Earlier, it became known that Kostomarov agreed to amputate his fingers if doctors could not restore the blood supply. It was reported that necrosis had spread to the athlete's hands, making the fingers inactive and blackened. Earlier, Kostomarov underwent surgery to amputate his left foot due to progressive necrosis.